This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website, listen to the past shows of Blogtalkradio. And as I said, if you want to get in contact with me, the phone number, of course, is on the website. But you know already, I said that art is occultism, and occultism is a motherfucking art. I dedicate this video to Jeff Bezos' homewrecker, Spellwork motherfucking bitch, Lauren Sanchez, because she cut the fuck up at that inauguration. If a harlot and a scarlet had a face, that would be it. Might be a whole man, the way that's skinny. I have some fucking questions, and I just still want to talk about the bewitchery and witchcraft of it all. So much fire and air language is being pushed in this universe that we don't know what the fuck is going on. And the only thing we can do is sit back and watch. And someone asked me the question, it was a spiritual constituent, is saying, if we were to do work, couldn't we do ABC? And I said, well, yeah. I said, but there's a number one thing you have to understand what you're fighting. You're not fighting humans or humanity. You're not fighting another person anymore. So that means the work has to shift. Everything has to shift. Even your tarot have to shift. Your candle work has to shift, because you're not fighting humans. You're fighting a beast. That's why. You're fighting a beast. It's above your pay grade. So I'm just going to kind of go around in circles, because I just have fucking questions, and I'm like, So this past weekend, Dave Chappelle was on the Saturday Night Live comedy show, right? And we understand that Dave Chappelle is allegedly from Ohio. And for many years now, there has been many questions, as we call conspiracy theory, giggles and laughs, that that's not Dave Chappelle. And we've heard the various stories, the frequencies, the backgrounds, the alleged cousin who said that he went missing. You heard from a guy who was a comedian saying, hey, that's not him. Just everything, right? So the number one I noticed about this Dave Chappelle and this whole Saturday Night Live skits and frequencies is that he wasn't funny. The other thing I noticed when he initially came on in the intro, he was sitting down. And then when he stood up, it was like he couldn't stand. I don't know what it is, what it ain't, what it is. What I also noticed was some entertainers, there's something going on with their knees and their legs. Some of them kind of bent over, or even some of them have a squatting position, and they walk very weirdly. The two people that I really noticed it with was Kelly Rowland and also Mary J. Blige. But it's something going on with them knees, right? It makes me reevaluate and rethink Fat Joe and them interesting legs that's going on with him. Because I understand in some cases it's arthritis, but there's something else, because they counseled him because allegedly of something he said a minute ago. And like I said, that whole energy of that video coming up with Fat Joe, I was a little confused, because I could have swore that came out a couple of years back. Okay, so therefore they're still fucking with time. They might have us on an Enoch time. You know, but some of you guys are common and believe Enoch is A, B, C, and D, but that's above your pay grade. So I sat and I kind of listened to his whole skit, and I looked at a couple of frequencies that I have fucking questions about, okay? One, he said, that's why I hate poor people. And you understand the new doctrine and a new government is a caste system, that it is the greatly or uber rich against the poor. And you're wondering, well, who's in the middle? Who's going to be the middle class? Because they have rebranded and resculptured the middle class, right? And in so many words, he's saying poor people can't look past their brokenness. And this is in reference to the L.A. fires, right? Because people talking so much shit. Okay? I said, uh-oh, that's spell work being thrown out. Fuck you poor niggas. Y'all gonna get shitted on, right? And he mentioned that the L.A. fires was the most expensive catastrophe in U.S. history. I believe it. Other than San Francisco and the 1906 earthquake, yeah, I do. I told y'all California is wealth, and California carries the rest of the world, even the United States, of course, right? So when you talk shit about California, it's digging in your pockets, okay? But he mentioned something about Mississippi that was very interesting. And he said one can burn 40,000 acres, and in so many words, it still ain't worth shit. $600 or $700. I thought about two different things, because they've been trying to take over Mississippi for a minute, and I understand there's Asian cultures that's trying to take over Mississippi. And then it made me think about Mississippi burning. Okay. Then it made me think about the Mississippi marching band that was stomping their feet during the inauguration. What the fuck is going, and what the fuck is about to go on in Mississippi politically? Because you already understand that they're trying to map, and they throwing spell work at us when they say there's parts of New Orleans that can be burnt down. Northern California, parts of Northern California could be burnt down. In addition to, why not Mississippi? Right? And you know, Mississippi has so much history and so many grave sites and cemeteries that are fucking banished and gone, and dead bodies. Right? We should take heed. He said the levees, I believe he said the levees are dry, or whatever it is, but he said sodomites. And then he brought up West Hollywood. He's telling you what it is. He talked about the Haitians being in Ohio. According to what he's saying, them motherfucking Haitians been in Ohio. We just didn't know it. Because they're tax-paying citizens. That means these are just not immigrants. If they are tax-paying citizens, it means that they are legally here. What? Excuse me? So what's really going on? And what is it the United States not telling us? That these people have always been here and they're legal, right? Air and fire magic. I started tripping about the levees being dry here. and no snow on the mountains in Southern California. No rain. Nothing. Okay. Then he mentioned the Diddy parties and Carl Winslow. I said, Dave Chappelle is saying something. And there's motherfuckers there that you wouldn't think to be there and caught up in shit. And I believe Carl Winslow ass was there. And even if he was there, so the fuck what? But subliminally, it's not the fact that he was there. It's the fact that he's part of old Hollywood in a way. So before any Diddy parties, there were already Diddy parties. And his ass was there at those parties. But whatever went on at those parties, so the fuck what? And why are we concerned? Okay? That's just the Hollywood way, right? The audience seemed fake. The laughs seemed like an auto machine. He said it's no fun to be famous anymore. He is right. I was looking at something where they was trying to make Denzel Washington appear like he was a nut because I guess he didn't want to sign an autograph. I said, oh, here they go. Now they fucking with Denzel Washington and his mental. Right? Aaron Fire. And I think Dave Chappelle might be a Virgo. If I'm wrong. Right? Whatever. Let's see. So it's very interesting him speaking in these terms. But then I forgot, yeah, August 24th, isn't that? Some people, of course, will say Leo. But technically, I would say he's on the Leo side of the game. So what's happening with them having him talk, he's on the Leo side of the game, but they're having him in Virgo, and Virgo is next to the gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper would always be the Cancer. So, of course, they're going to have a Virgo trying to replica a Cancer because underneath the Virgo, of course, is Pisces. So the Pisces, they believe that that's the Code Kappa and the King Kappa or whatever of all frequencies, but it's not because the Pisces get demoted, especially next to the Cancer and especially next to the Scorpio, but that's above y'all pay grade. However, if you want a pseudo gatekeeper, the Virgo would be it. Okay. So anyway, nothing about your astrology. I'm talking horoscopes. So when I'm looking at all of this frequency, so then he pops out and then he says for Trump to do better. I said, damn, what the fuck is going on here? Because I keep hearing people say that, right? And then I seen the skit that he performed in reference to the L.A.Fires. And that shit had so much subliminal motherfucking shit that it wasn't funny. And the bottom line, especially with old Hollywood, other than the trafficking and the prostitution, it was a whole frequency. And I said, and I was kind of listening to whatever was going on in that whole skit that he pulled, right? I said, this is not for comedy. This nigga up here telling some shit, and the powers that be is telling some shit that was going on in Hollywood. And we have to understand, especially, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that whole alleged story of Lucille Ball going back to the studio, and apparently she kept hearing something underground or underneath the studio, kind of sound like, what's it called, Morse code. and it was like a tapping. And then she had mentioned it like, hey, what's going on? She said, I'm hearing these sounds and yada, yada, yada. This is the alleged story. Then to find out, as they started to investigate, there was allegedly some kind of Japanese intelligence underneath the studio, I guess, trying to be spies allegedly, right? So I said, okay. But then the funny thing is that there's a lot of Hollywood people that were fucking spies. We already know about Josephine Baker. We heard shit about Eartha Kitt. We heard about shit about designer Coco Chanel and more, right? We've been hearing all of this for years. Hollywood is nothing but a whole spy and political frequencies and going to other countries and all this shit. It's like a cover, right? And it's like these things and the energies have brought Hollywood down, but did we really bring Hollywood down, or is it just change of government? So the funny thing with these energies, as we understand that actors could be spies, CIA agents, FBI agents, and all of that. Do you know how many times that certain entertainers are fucking working for the CIA? Okay? And right there in front of your face. But there's certain energies that have been living among us in Hollywood. You got your Romanians, who they say are interesting. Your Armenians, who are interesting. You have Russians that people don't even understand. Russians also run Hollywood, especially Russian Jews. You have your Serbians. You're sleeping on the Australians. Okay, so we just have all these frequencies going on out here, and then your energy that you didn't see coming were the Ukrainians, right? Okay, then you wondering why they have them all up in Louisiana in them fucking bakeries, and some of you dumb niggas will be up there going to buy your fucking king cakes from them damn Ukrainians, baking that shit and putting their hands on the ancestor spirits. But there's some shit popping off with that. Okay? But all these people that I'm talking about in culture of people was up in them fires, houses in fires, burnt down and whatever else, or hiding. So when we got that skit, that motherfucker was telling the truth. It's just that now they can tell it. Because they're coming in with a new doctrine. Right? So, in understanding these frequencies, let's just kind of go through some things. As we talked about Dave Chappelle and how art imitates life and life imitates art, let's understand how they keep playing games with us, right? So let's go back to these fires as I presented what I presented to you with Dave Chappelle, because I have some new energies and new questions. I need to understand in British news, or I'm going to say global news, how come they're presenting to the world that the fires destroyed houses, but there's houses that survived, and the houses that survived are now slipping off of hills due to heavy rains, mudslides, and all. What heavy rains? It's been dry as fuck. Where did that report come from? Who in the fuck is intentionally going over there pushing them people's houses off the cliff or making them fucked up? So basically what you're saying is this can't survive. None of these houses can survive. So people get on their knees praying to God, oh, thank you for saving my house. Then you have this other energy coming behind you, pushing your house off the cliff or causing mudslides and causing earthquakes. which will cause a slide. So the media global is reporting that in California there are heavy rains that's causing mudslides. But in reality, in connection with the fires, there has been earthquakes. That, on a ground that's already weakened, will cause a slide. I have fucking questions. What is this energy? What is this lie? What is this stage frequency? That means we can't believe shit out there. Zero, zilch, nothing. Air and fire magic. We're being cybered like a motherfucker. So do you understand? Globally, this is what they're telling the world. And this is what's being reported. That there were the fires, now there's rain, now there's a mudslide. No, there were fires and there were earthquakes to finish the job off, allegedly. Okay? And as they, of course, they call it landslides. Then what's coming up, and I don't know if you guys have seen this on social media, when somebody was flying into LAX and they had, or whatever, flying into LAX or past LAX going somewhere, they had took a picture, or no, they was recording the flames, right? So notice that when they're recording the flames, it cuts off. Well, apparently and allegedly, there's an extended version of that video of the person on the airplane recording the fires from above. So again, we're looking at it and they're cutting it off, right? It's edited. But when you look at the alleged unedited version, you see fucking fire bombs firing everywhere, and they look like just a ball of fire. Just, it's like literally you have some, like an energy Diablo coming up out the gates of hell and throwing fucking balls. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And now this is supposed to be the extended version that they cut off at a weird point that people couldn't see. Now, we don't know if it's AI. We don't know what it is, but this is what they're saying. Like, hey, this is the extended version that they didn't show you, that there's a whole bunch of... Now, this is not the first time that I've seen this. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. I said, those look more than just lasers. It looked like fucking fireballs. What the fuck is this here? Right? And they're big ass fireballs. And they just flying everywhere. I said, so okay. It almost looked like it almost looked like fireworks, but literally somebody is getting just a ball of fire thrown. It's round like the sun. It's like the solar system or whatever is coming on Earth. A meteor. And they just popping up. Pum, pum, pum. I said, alrighty. Okay. Then they're talking about when we see houses that survived and everything around them is burned, those are AI pics. I said, excuse the fuck out of me. So if we go back to Hawaii, remember they kept talking about them blue houses and all that shit? That's what they reported to us here. But what is the truth? All that shit is fucking AI. They're really fucking with us. And people are talking about that's not true. That house didn't survive. That's AI putting fake houses in place for sensationalism. All right. They failed to show us, and I don't know how true this is, so I'm going to say allegedly, how metal off of vehicles melted. And I said, that almost looked like a fucking Hollywood prop, but okay, I'll ride with it. I'm not saying it can't happen, because that's the same thing they said happened in Hawaii, and the same thing has happened in other countries with this same explosion. But the trees, when you look, you're like, okay, I see the melt, but how come them trees aren't burned? How come them palm tree? What the fuck is going? How come there's still a forest behind you? Okay. The other scary thing, and this is being confirmed, but I'm going to say allegedly because they don't have it out on the news, that more people died in this fire than what they told us. Which goes back to Dave Chappelle's skit of hidden people, hidden energies, people getting shot in the head. Them talking about there's FBI vehicles and men in black. Ukrainian houses burning down. Oh wow. None of my business. I'm just reporting what it is, what it ain't. You know, hey. Dave Chappelle said it. I'm just wondering, like, oh. But according to sources, allegedly, who, as you people call first responders, because I don't want to say who, where, what, and where it came from. I'm covered under journalism. There's more people. There's interesting things going on. Interesting things. Interesting things to hide. Interesting things. As interesting as me talk about Gavin Newsom and saying, leave that man alone, just be lucky he showed up. As interesting as dead animals burn like fucks, but as interesting as reporters, journalists recording dead bodies that's been scorched to smithereens, that is just the skeletals, and people not even realizing that's what the fuck they're recording. Okay. Some people remains are just missing. They're not in a shelter. They're not in a hospital. They're just gone. One of my spiritual constituents was talking about the senior who was 95 plus, you know, that again, that was in, they said she was in the Blues Brothers movies. And she said, what did she know? And I said, well, goddamn, at 95 years old, it doesn't matter what she knew. Could she just live? But let's talk about Altadena. There's some interesting things coming up. And they were talking about on one street alone, there was over 17 deaths on one street alone in Altadena. As they said, the west side of Altadena. But wait a minute, Benjamin Crumb. Was it Benjamin Crump? He is a crumb. Benjamin Crump. You said in that press release or whatever that is, that there was a spokesperson or a leader, whatever you want to call him, for Altadena, then I need to understand how come he didn't talk about just in one area alone 17 deaths, just in one area. And there's people talking. Why are they not talking about that people didn't receive an evacuation notice until early morning, between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m.? How are you evacuating people between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m.? That means you got to go and knock on doors. People sleep. Really between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m. See, that would make sense to the story I heard from the person that I know about what happened with the person's grandparents. The person's grandparents, this is in Pasadena, and I told you guys the story, they were asleep. And they were elders. And they had a Walkweiler. It says Walkweiler, whatever, dog that died in a fire. They said the time they woke up, their roof was on fire. And they ran down the stairs and they tried to get to the dog, but the dog was in a cage. By then, they're in, I think, in a cage. I don't know if they were, if the dog, whatever it was, the dog was in a certain room. And the roof fell in on the dog and they couldn't get it. They can only save themselves. And they said they tried to get the dog, but it was done. Their house was done. And these are the people that's considering to move to Florida. So that would make a lot of sense to why people were asleep. It wasn't like at 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't at 9 o'clock at night. This shit was fucking early morning where people is dead sleep. And then the audacity to talk about evacuate. Because my whole question was, how in the fuck did those fires get over there? If it was a natural Edison energy, right? It was just winds. You know, the winds just said, come on, fireball, boom. And I had a spiritual constituents go over the map. And when she read that map to me of where Pasadena is, Altadena, in reference to Palisades and Malibu and parts of Santa Monica, it doesn't make sense. And you guys not gonna make it make sense. I don't care if you're born and raised in Southern California. Y'all can't make it make sense to me. But that makes sense. Now they want to say it's a conspiracy theory. Somewhat okay. So the number of dead bodies that they told us, but what they also not telling you are burial grounds. See, just like Louisiana have a whole bunch of, grave sites, unmarked, unclaimed. That's the same thing with Altadena. Just like Mississippi, every time there is an unmarked grave, there's always dealing with melanated energy. Just like Santa Ana, real name is Santana, because the natives named it. What the fuck is going on? And see how we have autism and ADHD, and we didn't forgot about the fires. As we forgot about those fires, another fires then started in San Diego. I told y'all about them trying to get that San Diego. They're seriously just burning shit up, huh? They got you under Mars. Okay. We just talking, right? As we forgot, just like we forgot about Luigi, and we didn't forgot about Puff Daddy, huh? Okay. There's this thing going around that people asking, what's it called, Alexa, questions. And I'm asking, these people are not bullshitting. They're asking it right in front of our faces, right? How would this Alexa know that with the Philippines, there's going to be an 8.2 earthquake that's going to cause a disaster on April 22nd, 2025? How would another fucking hurricane come back on September 4th of 2025 to Florida that's going to tear the fuck up, huh? We have no questions? I was discussing with someone, with a couple of people, I said, this is why they took the Bible away. If you read it past King James, that gay energy. In church, in gospel, and in teachings, they taught us about joy. We have to bring joy into our lives, because man will kill you and your joy. They're causing despair and mayhem, man. And I was explaining to them, man makes you believe there isn't any such thing as spirit. How? When man destroys it. Every time you believe in spirit, he command to take it away. Right? That's because you have no discernment. Because if you believe that man can take away your joy, you have no discernment. That's because you're under psychological warfare. Because you have to understand, we're not even under man anymore, we're under a beast. And when you understand you're under the beast, then you could get somewhere. Because the beast don't want no joy. It wants destruction in your life. From your wealth, your mental, your physical, your food, everything. So how do you believe in spirit in this time of hell? You got to have discernment. You have to understand the unknown. You got to look at man for who he is. He ain't shit. Man is destructive. They're very primal. They're very practical. And they're very calculated. See, spirit is not calculated because you don't know where it's going to come. But man is calculated because he's dangerous. The beast is dangerous, right? Because out of all the universe, you have to understand, man is not the creator. It's not the beginning. It's not the end. It's not it. So when I'm looking at all of this energy, I said, what the fuck is really going on here, right? So we have snow. So California dry as a motherfucker. Wendy's, all that. Mm-hmm. Then I have questions because on January 25th, all of the planets are allegedly going to line up. So you already know they're going to do motherfucking work. This month have allegedly have been, as they call it, the wolf moon. During the inauguration around there, the red moon. Because the red moon just showed its ass back up again from a couple years back. When initially he was in office, right? And now, on January 25th, all the planets are going to be visible. And we're going to see them all motherfucking lined up, bitch. And as a woman, if they want to play that game, then as women, then we should play the game. Because this new world doctrine is 1,000% men. So women, you better power up. So I was looking at some things, right? And they're talking about right now, different frequencies are happening. And I said, ever since that motherfucker opened up the fifth seal, it's been problems. That damn Pope Francis, right? And let me see here. So there's a couple of things in astronomy that I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this energy? And it's science. So I have some scientists in here, right? So they talk about January 20th. See, they had you believing that the inauguration on January 20th was for MLK Day, right? But no, the gates of hell was opening. So allegedly on January 20th, Earth begins growing a shell around the outside, which will send our world underground. Notice the shifting, notice movement. A new environment forms on this outside shell with new species. One is smarter than humans. Humans are no longer the apex predator. You had Trump talking about aliens and fighting the aliens and fighting the borders. See, here's the funny thing. See that good Mexico over there? They be having some interesting shit over there, and my son laughs at me because I can't pronounce shit, and I told my son he got chased by a Koopa chopper. You know them dogs are Koopa choppers, whatever. So anyway, them little funny looking skinny dogs, and then and people been seeing them damn gnomes, because over there in that good Mexico, they be having them little tiny people. Y'all think I'm crazy as fuck. They be having them little tiny people running after your ass, right? So, in that good Mexico. So then, don't you guys think it's weird? They always keep talking about the cartel people, but we never see anybody. We see gang members. We see gang motherfuckers selling dope. We see them off the fucking hinges. But who in the fuck is the cartel? Okay? January 27th, the first ever FX tornado runs through Dallas, Texas. It is over 18 miles wide and destroys everything. Its travel about 450 mph and lasts for 2 hours straight. It is given the name Goliath because of the amount of damage it causes. Now, I don't know in the universal soul where this is supposed to be. Who knows? February 4th, the drones seen flying above New Jersey are found to be alien technology and were placed here to spy on us. They're going to need to stop fucking with us. It is the start of the first alien invasion on Earth, and it will be called the War of Earth, the War of the World. Remember that movie? It starts in late 2025. Then it's talking about trials are instantly successful and government tries to hide the cure. I don't know what this is. Massive riots to form. Let me say this. That's why some of you black people Y'all should not have been taking those fucking DNA tests to know who you are. That's why I got angry with my son who was taking them fucking DNA tests. That's why the aliens came back and tried to kidnap his ass. See, see, I told him, I said, see, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I forgot which one, which DNA test, but whatever that DNA test was, it knew a little bit too much. In it, what it stated, now I'm telling my business. I have one, and yes, they by the same father. I have one son that's dark and one is light. On my darker skinned son DNA test, because remember they wanted to know who their dad is, meaning his DNA because their father is adopted. Okay, this particular test said my darker skinned son should have more curly, sandy brown hair. That's the way it described it. Light, with light brown eyes. Okay, that's not my dark skinned one, but my dark skinned one do have curly hair. It described my other son. I said, well, we know y'all brothers. I said, that's weird. And then it starts to go into who has the master gene. Then his ass wondering why in the fuck the aliens was like, there, that little nigga. Just bring him on in. Bring him on in. He was walking down the street of good Santa Ana, boom, bam, boom. He fall, they knock his ass over, and they tried to suck him up with was it a twinkle in the eye? They couldn't get him this time. But they for sure was trying to suck him up in somebody's machine. Who knows? Drag his ass right down that street. There he is. We've been looking for him. See, some of y'all got cute taking that DNA test, and y'all black melanins got certain genes. Black people, especially black men, and y'all out here being feminine as a motherfucker with your homosexual frequencies, and you don't even know that y'all got the master gene. Women and men. So I started to kind of peep something, right? I have questions. So I talked about January 25th, the lining of the planets, right? They're lining up in formation. However, myself and other spiritual constituents been taken sick, right? And the sickness, remember I described it all, but one of the energies is that you're dehydrated. And you can't get out of you can't stop being dehydrated. You drink water, you could drink great Gatorade, you could drink coconut water, all. And you're fucking dehydrated where your lips are just dry. And it lasts, and it's like it's not going away, right? Then we have the snow in Florida, Louisiana, my spiritual constituents. I seen, was it in Pensacola, Florida? Oh my God. Atlanta? Oh my God. Louisiana, and my spiritual constituents forwarded to me something, and it's like snow, but there's this weird gulf of sun, and you can see the sun, then there's something else in front of the sun. And it lights, it's eerie. I said, ooh, the dawn of the dead. That's the dawn of the dead. That means the dead is coming. that means my father coming. I'm like, look, that's the dawn of the dead. That's the people coming up. That's the people coming up who've been waiting at the altar. That's the one. Those are the lambs are now opening the realm for them people who've been wanting to come up for revenge and redemption. Underworld, the ones that are all in white, waiting, asking Jesus, can we come? Can we come? So the dawn of the dead, here they are. They're coming. I said this to you before. Now we're in a different dawn. And they may be so aggressive towards you because they want you to know that they're around. They'll start to move things, throw things. That means technically my kid's father is going to come back. People who you like, I don't want to see you coming or going. It's going to come visit you. In death, dawn of the day, dawn of the dead. This is above y'all pay grade. Y'all like, this bitch crazy as fuck. Okay. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. But Jesus is the one who's opening it. You heard all these interchanges about, I'm the lamb. I'm the lamb. They've been throwing, so now I'm going to be, how can I say, practical, layman. We're going to talk chemtrails. Like I said, I don't know what the fuck they throwing up in there, but we're going to say chemtrails, right? I'm wondering within these chemtrails, is it a form of dry ice? Have the same chemicals as dry ice with some kind of salt supplement? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist, so please help me. I'm just asking questions. But in my layman energy, I think there are 3 planets that have dry ice, which is Mars, was it Neptune and Uranus. And they call Mars the Martian planet with glaciers. And isn't that what's happening in Detroit and Chicago? Glaciers, right? And remember I said these people are so practical with their horoscopes and their works that they're using Mars, Martians, aliens, snow, dryness. Dry ice causes dryness. And you're wondering why you're dehydrated. And I'm like, well, I don't understand the salt energy, because first they say salt is good for moisture, but salt can also dry your skin and dry your throat and dry you out. So please, scientists, someone let's break down the witchcraft and the witchery and the bewitchery. So is that what they're throwing up in the frequency, that you take sick, cold, freeze, hard? Because that snow that's happening is a different type of snow. And it's very drying. Right? Let's talk about that. And I was telling my spiritual constituents, I said, maybe we have to cut down on starches, all of that. Because again, it doesn't matter what water you drinking, bitch, you dry. I told my spiritual constituents, I said, I drink Avion, coconut water, all of that. And all of us are saying the same thing. And then my spiritual constituent, who's a biologist, said something very interesting to me. She talked about Elon Musk and Tesla. And what connection is the golf? And what was explained to me, and I said, I guess apparently, I don't know, and I don't remember if she told me it was Texas or Louisiana, but she said that basically they bought property, and basically over there with the property where they bought, it's basically grave sites over there. Because she was telling me how at LSU they have people's bodies pinned up who are unclaimed bodies, right? So you already know that as our ancestors, we don't know where they're buried, because I've asked my Aunt Julia, where in the heck is her grandmother buried? And she couldn't explain to me in Thibodeau. So can you imagine all of those grave sites that are unaccounted for and just forgotten? And buildings are built on top of bodies? Okay. So apparently there's a plant, either in Texas or Louisiana, but it's Tesla. And apparently it's either a lithium plant or a used lithium, something like that. But apparently lithium needs water to thrive. And it's been dry. Why is it snowing? And she says she believes that they want to pump the Gulf of Mexico to facilitate Elon Musk, or allegedly these plants. In addition, the plants, some of these other plants and whatever's there in Louisiana, want to expand themselves into properties that are basically have bodies, grave sites there. See what I'm talking about with man? Okay. So we have to reevaluate Gulf of America and what is really going on. And I said, okay, so they need a water source. So they know exactly what they're doing. But what type of water is this? And what's the chemtrails being pushed out to create this energy? Like here is cold, but it's not raining or anything like that. Meanwhile, you have Panamanians throwing spellwork at America. I'm saying, I'm not trying to fuck with no fucking Panamanians. They are no joke. Because they're angry that they want to change the Gulf of Mexico to a Gulf of America. Yeah, they want to change the melanin. They want to change the frequency. They want to pull the energies that are there. They want to take away from the energies of Central and South America and Florida, wherever. The fuck? When there's an end game. They're not telling you this, right? Inauguration. I want to talk about these fashions. I want to talk about Ivanka. I fuck with that bitch. That bitch was dressed. She was in Nazi this Dior. She gonna represent her family in that Naziness. These are Nazi Jews. Pulling from the royal family. That green bitch. She want to make sure she represents Hitler. I said, that's a bad suit right there. Then she went Audrey Hepburn on the bitch. She stole all her mama energy. But they had to rebuild her up, huh? Because remember, she went kind of funny looking for a moment and skinny, so they rebuilt that ass up. But that Ivanka, I don't care what y'all say, she was dressed. I'm going to watch her. She represented that Germany, 1940s. And we're not going to talk about, what's her name, Melania, looking like that dude from Poltergeist. But she was representing them, the fucking spaceships. Did you see that hat? I said it reminded me of the 80s. But did you see them coats she was wearing? Russia. Bad coats. You was dressed. You gotta appreciate it. Russian Nazi. Y'all so angry with that fucking Elon Musk being a fucking Yahtzee. He threw Yahtzee signs. Then we want to talk about pseudo Jackie Kennedy. What's her name? Usha Vance? And oh, she's so eloquent, this and that. Nah. They got her dressed like a Russian too, just cute. That was a cute coat. A lot going on. It was a cute coat. But I don't understand why they was wearing all them coats inside. They wasn't outside. They was inside. See what I'm talking about? Melania, what's her name? Melania and Ivanka were, they call Nazi chic, as they're trying to create a new Jackie Kennedy. Russia. They was bringing us back to the Holocaust, to the psycho experiments that they were doing the Holocaust. I see that Trump is taking a page, or they have him taking a page out of Hitler's Nazi book, but in reality, it's a good read because that's an energy of communist China energy. Right? These were a bunch of German fashionistas, bitch. But we're not going to talk about Miss Sanchez, how she had on that white blazer with that lace boosty. Ho. Got Mark Zuckerberg looking all. He couldn't keep his eyes to himself, even if he is a robot. That robot was like, we know his ass cheat. And he like melanated. He like others. He messed with black women. I could see it all in his energy. I said he messed with black women. He's the type of mess with Azalea Banks. He's just with that Chinese woman for show. I wonder, did she finance him? Because you know he's a thief like Jobs. You know how Jobs stole Apple and shit. What's his name? Steve Jobs. So did Zuckerberg. Y'all making a big deal about Trump not putting his hand on the Bible. He don't have to put his hand on the Bible because he's already president. He's a republic president. He's considered the 19th president. What is he? What they trying to say? He's the 47th president or something? He's not. No, that's for corporate entities. That's why he's trying to tear down the federal government, so because he is a republic. He went California on y'all, huh? That's why D.C., Virginia, and Maryland are very Cali, as you guys call it, like. So they didn't went back to Negro. That's why they had Negro spiritual hymns at the inauguration. This one. They invited people that didn't even make sense. Why would Jake Paul be there? Then you had that Vance guy, wherever Vince, he didn't fell out the goddamn chair. I said, what kind of chip? They got these niggas up in the damn. They wasn't even in. Then they had your AIs in front, you know, your caste system, your Googles, and, you know, all of them, because they want to go AI now. So they're saying there's no more corporate entity, but technology, cyber. And some of you will be like, oh my gosh, look at the echelon and the aristocrats. Those are slaves. They're just a front. We don't even know if they're real. When you was looking at the inauguration, they were looking, oh my goodness, they were looking hella weird. I didn't know if they were the beast or robots. Well, maybe it was a mixture. Because you have to admit, Elon malfunctioned. Jeff Bezos was all over the place. He malfunctioned. Then, when you look at the people who were there, including the children, their faces were, what is it? Somebody forwarded me something, was it with Thanos or something? With the Avengers? And I was looking, I said, oh my. Well, their face are distorting. It's melting. Some of them couldn't help it. Some of their beasts was just couldn't even just sit for one moment. It was just so, you could see it moving underneath. And then a plastic surgeon had the audacity to try to explain. You can't explain the beast. Asha was saying Asha Vance, she's the mark of the beast. I'm trying to figure out what is going on when an elder, my spiritual constituents told me that an elder who's almost 100 years old looked at Asha, was explaining everything that was going on during the inauguration, and said that Asha Vance is Jew. She said Jew. I said, Jewish? Then I'll start looking. I said, what? Then I started thinking, you know what? That's not fucking far-fetched for her to be Jewish, because I was at a Jewish bakery, and I'll call them Jewish gypsies. They look just like her. I said, what? And Jewish people can recognize other Jewish people. I said, is that why Trump be acting funny towards her? I heard somebody in my comments was trying to get on my helmet talking about that I should hold J.D. Vance in high regards because he comes from an echelon family. Is this before his mother was a crackhead or after she was a crackhead? Because according to the picture and what that report was saying, and she didn't have no fucking teeth, so we can imagine what she was doing back in the day with no teeth, you know, being on them damn cracks. So what? They kept showing, what's her name, Usha, with them kids, them badass kids she has. Them badass kids. Especially that Sonny, bad as fuck. If that was a black kid cutting up, y'all be talking hella shit. They look at that nigger kid. They can't control their kids. Oh, she's a beautiful mother. Look, oh, he's just so cute. Look at him. He's just a little mischievous. The little boy need ass whooping. He's bad as fuck. No couth. See, if that was a black mom, his ass would have been sitting down. Sit your ass down. You see, Michelle Obama had her mama. Well, we still questioning Michelle Obama, but can we just say for giggles and laughs? You know that mama was there. Okay, bye. You know that mama was there taking care of stuff, right? I could imagine if that was my grandmother. I think he would have got hit. So now that we're in the Republic, they're saying that there's no more corporate, but we're in a different type of entity. So that makes a lot of sense of these executive orders, because they're trying to tear down the old government to bring in a new government. But people are not peeping with all of this governmental freeze, and people are like, yeah, no. Do you know how, I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't know what type of fucked up shit is going on with the Latino people, especially the Mexicans, and this weird infatuation. But it makes me think that they're trying to get rid of the Mexicans to replace them with Indians or with whatever else is in place. Because what I get out of it, and this is from, let's see here, the spiritual constituents, apparently in the textile world, what I get out of it in the textile world, China used to be at #1, right? But now India is running up on China and taking over. And apparently in India, there's a new class and there's a new middle class. Remember I talked about that earlier? So we're going to have, so they're created where they have removed the black culture or white culture, wherever you want to be. We're going to say the American culture of middle class. They're replacing it with a different type of culture of middle class. So apparently in India, there's a middle class that's growing in riches and wealth, but they're more wealthy, of course, in India, because remember I was talking about the whole currency system. But however, there's a new energy, of course, in America that's growing, that will grow, of a new middle class, and it's going to be these people. Okay, so in the textile world, it is known. That I guess China, I think, supposed to be #1, but India is going to basically trump China, and then we have Japan and Korea. Okay, so China is hanging on by a limb. So that makes sense to why China trying to bring their asses everywhere to be, because China is saying they're trying to knock our crown off. So that's why now you even got China over there in Cuba, fucking up Cuba, and then now you have Chinese people trying to take up for Cubans, trying to say America bully and this and that. That's why they're over there in Africa. That's why they're everywhere, because they're trying to get back on top. And they're trying to go to the melanated energies to get back on top. From Central America, South America, doesn't matter, Jamaica, whatever. We're going to be there because we need to get back on top. But you can't, because America has helped and Europe has helped India to now gain power. The 7 churches. So then underneath that, then you have what I get out of it, your Burma, Vietnam, whatever, Thailand, whatever. They're part of that world too. Your superpowers, right? The seven churches of Asia. Okay? Which loops back into this whole republic. And they are standing on melanated energy. Did y'all see that energy when Trump was allegedly done signing all of these executive orders? And one of them was Martin Luther King's proclamation, and he wouldn't sign it in front, and the man was trying to make him sign it. And I said, what kind of shit is this? So now all of a sudden they want to get rid of Martin Luther King Day? And they're trying to push for that now. It's on social media and it's being talked about. So is that why when they went and tried to have Martin Luther King's daughter, I guess, throw the coin Bernice King, and then the a referee guy was disrespectful and threw it, and she looked at him crazy? That's disrespectful. That means there's another culture coming in being disrespectful to black people, but they want our melanin, but they want to stand on the back of our ancestors. So not only did they have spiritual hymns going on during the inauguration, they had the Mississippi a band come in with that energy. Okay, then allegedly, because we really don't know what's going on, because everything is piece by piece. Then they had that crazy ass preacher. I don't know what the fuck. That was so humiliating and embarrassing. Then you see JD's wife looking like this. Then you see Trump like this. Then you see JD like this. And you see that cool nigga doing whatever he doing. That's fucking embarrassing. What the fuck is that? With all the preachers and pastors that you could have gotten, and you got this Looney Tune nigga. I think, man, that's a whole actor. They got here from the asylum. That's not a real preacher. That's an asylum. He's a psycho. Because I was like, what the fuck is this? Where'd they get him from? Then who also had me cracking up was the damn minister or the bishop who told him to do better, the white woman. I said, what the fuck is going on here? What? What's his name? The Ukrainian president, what's his name? Zelensky, whatever his name is. He upset that he was uninvited. Somebody pointed out to me that I noticed that they didn't have the Middle Easterns there. I said, I did notice that. They the ones who are aristocrats and wealth. Jeff Bezos and them, no, that's not wealth. So I hope people now looking at them as aristocrats and echelon. I was advised with fast fashion that Amazon is number one. I was like, what? 40%? What? Black women better stop wearing all that fast fashion. Open up your pores and all them toxins get in your pores. Kill your kidneys and liver. Have fibroids. You so worried about relaxers and shit. But you up there wearing them fake ass fast fashion ass clothes. Now realizing that the clothes are killing you. Allegedly. We already know what this hair does. But we don't talk about them cheap ass clothes you wearing. And also from Amazon. The Sheins and Temu, Fashion Novas, H&Ms. Cheap clothes. Anyway, I didn't went to the left. So yeah, technically he's the 19th president because he's the Republic. And apparently that Bible is supposed to be the Lincoln Bible and not King James. They're saying that the inauguration was for the corporate entities. As you already know, this wasn't the real inauguration. So that's where it is. He already held that Bible upside down, so it's what it is, right? So I'm going to look at him as the Republic. So he's around here signing all these executive orders from the Unified School District, trying to make the post office private and all of this shit. But you already know that, is it Congress can overturn that or something? All that or whatever he's trying to do. Change names to shit and for hiring freeze and that federal hiring freeze. I just want to go back to that for a minute. That's a cold game and a cold spell, because all they're going to do is just replace people with AI and then hire certain people to control the AI. That's all what that is. They want to fire long-time people that have been working. They want to retrain the school system. If your ass is Brokeback Mountain and you in the school district, you just fucking ass out. Don't let you have a learning disability, because I can tell that they don't understand what disabilities are. These new breeds. If you have a learning disability, then you're just no use for you. Then strive better. Get in a better neighborhood. Meanwhile, we're going to freeze the school, the jobs, and workforce, so you're broke even more. You understand that most black people or melanated people get their jobs through government, federal, state, and city, which creates a middle class? And they've been fucking around with that for a minute. I remember the state of California, they had a hiring freeze for years. So when I got in at UC Berkeley, they had just lifted it. I have a person in Arkansas, and they just, I guess the governor denied raises. I was listening where people under the Unified School District don't understand how is that federal? How are they even under the Unified School District, and what's going on? And they had to tell them, yeah, you are. People out here afraid they're going to get terminated. That's called stealing your joy, stealing your wealth. For them just to replace you with something else? Then what? Then you're going to say, well, go back to school and do something else. Like what? I've been seeing a lot of cybersecurity coming up, huh? So y'all for sure going to need some work done and direction and one-on-ones. They're going to push you old motherfuckers out, huh? And restructure it. Let me read this. I found this very interesting. Biden pardoned the late black nationalist Marcus Garvey, as well as 4 other commuted sentences. Did y'all see where fucking Trump, I guess, pardoned some of them January 6th motherfuckers, and people was waiting for them to come out of jail? Doesn't that still go back to the Pope talking about forgiving the underworld? We just having a conversation here, right? Did you see where Trump's son kept doing the Masonic sign and the wife had to tell him to stop? That's all they was doing across the board, Masonic symbols. I had to look in my Masonic book. You got black people out here afraid of Trump talking about that Trump may send them back to Africa. Who? They ain't sending your black ass anywhere. You're an American. You're a black nationalist. What the fuck you talking about? They'll send his ass back somewhere. They'll send his people back to Europe. What are you talking about? How black people talking stupid? Cause they believe in all that shit that they talking about. Black people crazy as fuck. You're not gonna play with me with that. Here it is. No, not this. Teachers being surprised their jobs were based on the Department of Education of them losing their jobs. They say right now it's chaos at the White House. Trump will close the Department of Education. What do we do now? Breaking. Elon Musk proposes eliminating some agencies. Who's the president? Elon Musk or Trump? Because he's been doing a lot of this, that Elon Musk. I don't get that. These people out here suffering from destructive impulsive behavior with this shit. Let me continue on. Did y'all see that supposed devil star that was hanging out in the universe? I seen that shit. That shit was scary as fuck. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I said, what is that? It was hella bright. Okay, so as we understand, Biden pardoned Fauci, right? Dr. Anthony Fauci. I wanted to read this for a minute. This came from Kash Patel. You know, he has him over the FBI. So I have some questions here. I have some serious questions. This is what he allegedly wrote. Okay? If you are unvaccinated, you resisted global propaganda worth over $100 billion. The fact that you withstood such intense pressure shows how strong you are, making you a rare breed in a time when that kind of backbone is nearly extinct. Be proud of yourself. Over here, Dr. Fauci got pardoned, because remember, he was on trial for a minute. To Kash Patel writing this shit. What the fuck is going on? I'm sitting here like, so I'm just reading shit. Chicago consider increasing property tax, cutting city services, enacting a hiring freeze after exhausting funds. You have Missouri saying, bitch, I'll give you $1,000 if you tell on these illegal immigrants. Matter of fact, call me up. You have them saying no more IRS. Was it internal revenue? What do they call it? External or something? Revenue? Correct me. So now IRS is going to be replaced and something people believe no more taxes. They're saying this is abnormal for Trump to be signing all of these executive orders, especially after an inauguration. Okay? Then he cutting funding for people with fucking Down syndrome. People upset that he didn't got rid of the energy of the Constitution on the government website, in addition to some kind of women's energy of explaining how to get different resources. The Mexican people are angry because he didn't remove some immigrant stuff or whatever stuff. What the fuck? And it says 404, bitch, that's a code. Stop them number codes. He said he gonna go to every motherfucking city and get the damn immigrants. You have Orange County saying we are not a sanctuary city, especially Huntington Beach. And then told the Los Angeles people who got in them fires, if you come here, don't come with that Los Angeles shit. They talk about fucking with retirement and people SSI. What the fuck is going on? And restructuring it. And then talking about that they gonna fuck around with fucking financiation. No, cause I don't fuck around with that shit. They're gonna stop that playing. He firing military people. I'm just looking through all of this. I don't know what this has anything to do here, but it says Georgia halts poultry sales. Georgia has halted all poultry sales statewide due to confirmed case of bird flu in mass production. Yeah, it is called External Revenue Services. That's what they want to change it to. Oh, let me say this better. I'm going back to the L.A. fires. It says L.A. fires trigger massive scandal. Mayor Karen Bass accused of hush money bribes. That reminds me of that damn mayor over there in that good Oakland that they said that's been indicted. She's been up in court. That damn Eric Adams can't say fuck this MAK shit. I'm bringing my ass to the fucking White House, bitch, because it says Eric Adams canceled MAK Day event in NYC to accept last minute Trump inauguration invite. So he's been pardoned. Who is this evil woman who had on cowrie shells? Okay, so I'm like, who is this evil woman at the inauguration? So I find out her name is Supreme Court Judge Kanji or Kentanji Brown Jackson. Look, cowrie shells are strength and power. But I'm going to understand these cowrie shells is bringing me back to the Republic. I'm going to assume, what is she saying? But she a evil looking woman. Would you want her as a judge over your shit? Republic, again, was created by our ancestors. Bargaining was done with cowrie shells. Some people believe during the slave trade, that's what was some of the bargaining. There's so much energy in cowrie shells that we even need to investigate more. But yes, who is this? And apparently the song that they played, the Negro hymn, was called Battle Hymn of the Republic. And then the cyborgs that were there was Sam Altman. I guess he's with some company. Sundar was it Pichai, whatever, Google. Yeah, Mr. Man for that damn TikTok. Tim Cook, Apple. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, aka Meta, and then Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter, which is X. They have these people surrounding Trump, and that's who we seen. Expected guess. So we already understand what's going on there, right? Then we find out that there's two different forms of the village people. The village people that were there were not the real ones. The real ones would not have performed because they didn't kind of change the name. So I said, oh. So that wasn't, okay. Then did you hear Nelly, dumbass? It's like, why are you talking to Nelly? He gets high. He's probably at that damn Atlanta rehab. Shit. You know the one that's hidden, where people are talking about that Nene Leak's son really had a stroke because it was an overdose? Where all the entertainers go? Cardi B, all of them, and they were talking about her and them. I'm wondering, does Black China go there? Because I seen her on a live and she was eating hella sugar. She was drinking Dr. Pepper with fucking Reese's with some, then there was some M&Ms. I said, what's she on? That's a cold sweet tooth. That's an addict. That's an addict diet. See, y'all get bamboozled because these people be skinny and shit and looking good, but they get plastic surgery. They're not out there working out and shit. So when we see them eat like that, we don't put them on high regards. We don't say, you're not eating healthy. That's why it cracks me up when guys be talking about fat women, talk about, well, get healthy, da-da-da-da. But you get bitches like that be addicts and be eating sugar shit like that, but just getting plastic surgery. Do you understand most people don't eat healthy anyway? It doesn't mean a guy like that what did I see? That Bay Area balloon thing, whatever, and the guy was clowning the fat girl. I said, that nigga look like he eats McDonald's. Most guys that be skinny like that be eating junk food. It's some kind of McDonald's infatuation, or they eat that fake ass vegan shit. But when I seen Black China eat that, was eating that junk, I said, oh, she's an addict. I said, that's what I was like, I wonder if she at that rehab over there. She go there too. Because I know there's that other one. Was it because of Angola or whatever? Another rehab. It's hella like entertaining rehabs, right? Anyway, I didn't went to the left. This is shit. But all this shit is what was going on. I don't know what this shit is. God damn, right? Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Nelly, and Soulja Boy under fire for participation in Donald Trump inaugural. People are saying, are you guys going to cancel them like you canceled the fuck out of Chrisette Michele? And of course you're not, because they're men. But I'm going to keep it real with you. Where I was entertained with George Bush Jr., Baby Bush. I said, God damn, as he's getting older, he's looking more and more like his daddy. Is that his daddy? I said, oh my God, is he having a cancer moment? Then I had to read it. His wife kind of had to, hey. Then I said, what is her astrology sign? And then to find out she's a fucking Scorpio. Now, you know damn well a Scorpio is no help, because a Scorpio will entertain, will tell you, hey, don't do that, but be laughing with you because they know it's bullshit. Now, if that was a Pisces, I already know what that is. It'll be like, okay. But because that was his wife is a Scorpio, she's entertaining that shit. She know that shit was funny to her too, but she had to show face, Then you got a fucking Leo right there, which is Obama. He already gonna be with the shit. You can't put a Cancer next to a damn Leo, because then we're gonna be all cracking up. Then the Leo gonna do too much, and then the Cancer gonna be cracking up, and then it's just a whole thing. And I was like, people was thinking that he took an edible because he was too busy laughing and shit. And I was cracking up too. I was quite entertained by him. Then I was peeping Hillary Clinton's her brooch. It was a very interesting brooch, but I couldn't see it all the way. I said, what is that brooch about? That's the shit. But I know it's connected to something. Okay. And then Hillary Clinton started cracking up with her Scorpio self. And then, of course, Bill Clinton, you see, we don't know if these two people, but look, y'all, for giggles and laughs, just entertain, believe that these are the real people because we already know what's going on. So Bill Clinton, he act like he don't know what the fuck is going on. He looking at her and she too busy trying to laugh. I said, see, that's that shit I'm talking about. They over here laughing at dang, you know, the shit that's going on, right? With Trump. And then Elon Musk didn't make it any better with his energy. Right? So however, as black people, we better be careful that they're sitting up talking about merits, things not based off of color but on merit, because this is the thing that pushes out what you need to know about your history and so on and so on. Now they want to build everything on merits. That's no fucking problem. But let's be fair in the game. Because that draws back to inclusive shit. No, I'm not inclusive. I think I think the undertone of it is that they're trying to say you're an American, you're going to build on what you know, but we already know what it is and what it ain't. Okay? And the interesting thing is that what also came up is listening to him. Chaotic litigation. Chaotic litigation came up because of the Republic, right? Now that means under the Republic, that means the court system changes. Because we understand that the court system is considered, and some people believe, a nonprofit energy, right? But a nonprofit. And it's an organization that makes you believe that you're under contract. So therefore, if someone sue you and you take your ass to court and you start trying to testify and I didn't do this and I didn't do that, but they saying that basically this is a corporate entity. This is a corporation. It's a private corporation that's a nonprofit. And you being under that system, you're kind of doing yourself damage. That's why they can enslave you in this corporate system. That's why they can arrest you, because once you go give them your fingerprint and all of that, you didn't sign the contract for them to incarcerate you and enslave you and put you in jail and all that mess. So the funny thing is that when people sue you and you getting sued, do you got to show up to court? Because they the ones who signed the contract. You didn't. And if you really peep, that's kind of what he's under. He's saying, I didn't sign this contract to get sued or to go to jail or for tax. All I said was grabbing at the pussy. That's all I said. That's why I was laughing about the village people. I said Trump don't give a fuck about no village people. He like some pussy. Stop playing. They up there playing. But even that's an illusion with the village people, because that's not the real people, right? Everything is an illusion. It's not real. It's cyber magic. But this is above many of y'all pay grade, because I went to the left when I started talking about the court system. But the court system is the reason this energy is basically, we're going to say this Trump energy is attacking the federal energy. Because the feds come at you, right? But we also have to be careful with our we the people. Because the game is he's using the Republic and we the people to bring in a new doctrine. And it's really not we the people. Because we the people would not freeze out people in their wealth and prosperity and income. It could restructure it, but it wouldn't take their wealth away. But it's sacrificing one's wealth to create a different wealth. So don't be a sacrificial lamb. And don't get caught up under we the people when it's not really we the people. So as black people, we need to understand the Republic. I'm in California. We're under the Republic. That's why California can do any fucking thing. But now we're back under the Republic. So we the people. And if you're we the people, you have the right to speak on government. And you have the right to put your politicians on the chopping block and say, hey. Basically, you have the right to say, I don't want to be sued. I don't know what that is. I have the right to defend myself in this court system. I don't know. Right? We just talking. Inauguration. And some of you are like, gosh, you just talking in circles all over the place. Hell yeah. Just catch it. I'm a Cancer. Did y'all see that BBL chair that they have now? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see baby SZA when she was a kid? These people already be knowing who these people going to be before they know who they're going to be, huh? Did y'all see how Tyra Banks reappeared and looking disheveled? Was she on house arrest? Would she have an ankle monitor? So now they set her free. Has she been pardoned? Because, you know, she in trouble for pimping and pandering. Allegedly. Have you heard about that girl? She's from Maryland. I think her name is Regina something. And she went to Ohio following that show called Baddies. And I guess they was trying to, I don't know, trials or something in Ohio. And her parents, her family been looking for her since November. And her sister had been on TikTok looking for her sister, but TikTok never, I guess rolled it out or pushed it out so people can see. So apparently, allegedly, they found her this month in Ohio in some house, dead. And they're trying to say they're not accusing the Zeus Network and Baddies, but they just want to know what happened to the young lady. And apparently, she had over like 87,000 followers on Instagram. So I'm paraphrasing everything, so I don't know if you guys can look it up on the internet. But whatever it is, she ended up dead. I said, well, that was a sacrifice. And are you guys noticing more and more of that is happening with young ladies just end up dead? I seen one where a young lady, they found her in a fucking wall. I said, damn, this shit is wild. So many young women dying, so many young men dying, so many. And the funny thing is that the more and more there's third world energies, I'm going to keep it real, this is happening. And some of them would say, well, it's the cartel. Okay. Right? But it's happening. Have y'all been hearing about this new trend called lavender marriage? Basically, your man is very, you know, sensitive and kind of feminine, and he's married to you as a woman, and they call them lavender marriages. Look at the spell work, right? But have y'all been hearing the energies in Detroit? How they keep finding dead bodies everywhere and body parts, children, men and women, and how in nigga news we're gonna talk Tubi. How them Tubi entertainers are very interesting. I'm gonna call them entertainers. The shit they be saying about them Tubi actresses and actors, as we want to call them, their underworld. Like I said, I put them on the same level as Gavin Newsom. You don't want to say, but you just get what I'm saying. That they're very interesting specimens. And I'm wondering, so a lot of them bodies they finding, Remember them guys who went missing? Them rappers, and they were from outside of Detroit, and then they found them in this building, and the building was full of dead bodies. Detroit is very interesting. Have you heard that apparently there's a new language? Apparently Latinos are teaching the American people this new lingo called Miami English. And it sounds like broken English. So basically, here's the example. So if we say thank God, Miami English, and they call it Latino English, it's called thanks God. And is trying to be wrapped through a frequency of a college. Meanwhile, our black asses be speaking all type of stuff, gully, ebonics and everything, and we get clowned. But somebody can come in with broken English, and now it's a new language. And let me say something else about this new administration when they say your merit. Someone saying your merit also saying you also need to be repped. If you need to be repped, then that means you're a slave to some frequency and you're under people. The only merit you need to be on is yourself. The only repping that you need to be is yourself. Nobody can rep you. Because those same people that can rep you can tear you down. That's like my spiritual constituents was telling me about the occultists from the House of Hoodoo. Remember in Louisiana? And she was around. She used to be on. I would like bump into her frequencies from time to time. Well, apparently she didn't got her ass caught up with a fucking Cuban man. Now he didn't took her whole fucking business and shit. See, let me tell you something, women. When you're an occultist, that's a lonely world. You can't be an occultist woman and be in a relationship with a man because the man don't want to take over whatever you're doing. That's for real. Now, if he want to be your boyfriend and he don't live with you, cool. But like him as your husband and he all up in your mix, it's not going to work as a true occultist. Real shit. And they tend to send those type of men to us. Do you know how many times people be trying to send men to me? And it doesn't even matter if they're gay. You got to stand on business. You got to stand on your spell work. And too many women be getting involved with these guys. And the guys, and apparently he's Cuban, so he does work. And he's doing work on you. Because you know you guys get digged down out here on that rod. Because you know these men out here think they Moses and Jesus. So they rod you down with them dicks. Did y'all see that damn Dave Chappelle? That person that they call Dave Chappelle? Did you see what was going on? Because you know I'm a dick connoisseur. And I was like, anyway. Shit like that. I was telling my spiritual constituents about the story of the person I used to be around, and we went to a botanica, and the lady never liked me. She liked the other person, but she didn't like me. I didn't care. But one day I seen on her shelf, she had a candle, an Oshun candle, and a legua. Now I looked at both of those candles, and they was burning black. And I told her, I said, excuse me, your Oshun candle is burning black. And I said, I think you need to watch out for that. I said, because it seemed like there's something going on that's going to come your way. And I said, it's dealing with a relationship. And I said, and the ligua is trying to tell you. She looked at me like, and kept talking to the person that was around. I said, okay. The next thing I know, we go back there. And she's discussing with the person I used to be around that she didn't met herself a Middle Eastern man. She's a Mexican woman. And I was looking like, okay. The next thing I know, she told us that we go back there again. Her products start changing, and it'll start being t-shirts and weird Middle Eastern incense. And we look, there his ass is. And I said, uh-oh. And then every time we will pay her, he'll be watching the money like this. I said, So I told the person, I said, that's not good. He's taking over. I said, I'm concerned. I said, he too much in her business. I said, we go back there again. The whole place is closed. It's on the same lines of the story I heard of the person, I don't know, she was a makeup artist or whatever. She started dating this Cuban guy, I guess, in Atlanta, and I think the Cuban guy is related to where's Lil Wayne's baby mama, ex baby mother, but she's married now, I guess, to a Cuban or whatever. And that man then took over this woman's life, her credit, her everything. And I guess he used to mess with some woman who owned some kind of cafe. I don't know. But he done fucked up both them women's lives and then told them that woman, the woman he with now, she can't even do work on his ass because he knows this and he knows that. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Now, this house of hoodoo, now she done lost her fucking business behind a fucking man. Men don't like it when women are independent like that and occultists. They always push up on your shit and in your shit. And then say you act like too much like a man. Fuck it. So, anyway, just kind of looking at some frequencies here. So this is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.